Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 29th edition of the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships. This is day number 1. Our feature matchup for this time frame on table number 8 from Frederick, Maryland. He's player representative for Predator Q's, currently ranked number 1 on the Planet Pool Tour. One of the young guns on tour. He's known as the Genie. Please welcome from Frederick, Maryland, Mr. Ryan McCreesh. Give it up to him. Thank you. And his opponent is a columnist for Inside Pool magazine, former winner of the BC Open, 3rd place in last year's U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships. You saw him in the movie The Color of Money. Now you can see him live on billiardclub.net. Please welcome from Los Angeles, California, the Earthquake, Mr. Keith McCready. Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen. You may lag for the first break. Let's get it on.
Well, the Sardo rack in effect here. And Billy, that's going to, one thing very noticeable and worth mentioning too is they're putting the 9-ball on the spot here for this year's Open. And players are going to take a bit of getting used to, but I think the soft break, a lot of them have been experimenting with that on the outside tables. I wonder if that's going to be employed here.
I'm kind of curious to find out whether or not they're going to be breaking them softly or not as well. In the past, the soft break was fairly effective. But keep in mind, the big power breakers still get good production off of their breaks if they choose to break with power.
Yeah, power and control. That's the name of the game. Well, Keith McCready, as we said, opening the program, finishing 3rd last year. And he's going to be looking to go just a few notches higher on that totem pole.
And like I mentioned before, McCree, this is the first time he's ever been in this type of a situation. This is his first major tournament, and the U.S. Open is an awfully tough tournament to start with.
Well, pressure makes diamonds.
Not only is he starting playing in the U.S. Open, but he's going to be on television, you know, under the Accu-Stats camera, possibly on ESPN. You know, this is very, very difficult.
And he's having a real good look at that rack. Just checking it to make sure. It's a race to 11, day 1 here.
You know, a lot of butterflies are going around his stomach right now. Let's see how he breaks the balls. I really don't know much about him, like I mentioned.
All that nervous energy into the break.
Excellent break. Look at the control of the cue ball, Jim, positioned nicely in the center of the table. Ideally, if he would have pocketed a ball.
That was the good news, Billy. Yeah. The bad news is he didn't make a ball. And the first look in goes to McCready. And this is all about establishing yourself, settling those nerves that you know have to be there. And this isn't an easy prospect early. A difficult 2.
Not only is it too difficult, but he's got to hit it with a nice soft speed to go. Or he's opted to hit it 3 cushions. Now the 3 ball is positioned right here.
Oh, that's a great shot from McCready. That'll go a long ways to settling his nerves, but as he landed on the pink 4, he may have just nudged that 5 and left himself hooked behind the 7.
And I do believe he is behind the 7. He's going to probably have to go to the cushion behind the 4 and hopes to stick the cue ball somewhere in that area. Perfectly struck ball, Jim. Notice the position of the cue ball and the pink 4.
And at this level, Billy, I think it's fair to say escaping the hook's not always the problem. Getting the safety, that's another story.
Yeah, he couldn't have asked for anything better than what he got there. Great results, great shot. Now McCree steps to the table. He looks like he's going to get his jump cue out here, Jim. Notice the position of the 9 in relation right here to the 4 ball. There's the 9, and here's the 4 ball. Quite possibly he can make this combination 4 into the 9 into this pocket here.
Well, that
not an easy shot, but if he hits it well,
that has to be the reason he's got his jump cue out.
He can also pocket the 4 in the lower right-hand corner off the 9. Look at the 9. He got a.
There you go.
A little bit of a lucky kiss there, Jim, but nevertheless, game number 1 goes in the crease.
1-0, Ryan McCreesh, and he'll be breaking in rack number 2 over Keith McCready. Well, that was a terrific opening rack for McCreesh. And Billy, as you said, every opportunity to make a 9, and it unfolded as well as it could have for McCreesh.
And it was really important for McCreesh to get out to the early lead in this match, since he's the person that really hasn't been, he's not the experienced player out there, obviously. You know, and this is all new out there for him. The pressures of the U.S. Open on television, playing McCready, who's a very vocal player. You know, it was important for McCreesh to get the early lead, and that's what he's done.
Keith would have felt a little more confident coming into this match. He spent a lot of time here on center stage last year. And this is not the sort of start he was looking for. McCreesh is going to be looking to extend that lead.
Watch the cue ball off the break. You know, he didn't strike the balls as well that time as he did last time, but he was much more productive, pocketing 2 balls on the break, Jim. And he's come up with some type of a shot on the 2. This is the 2 ball here. He can cut it into the corner, setting the cue ball somewhere in this area here. He may go into the orange 5, but you know, he really doesn't have much more to he offered to him other than cutting it into the corner. He can play a safety on the shot as well. Let's see what he chooses to do. He played a safety all the way, Jim. Very intelligent shot when you consider the position of the 2 in relation to the cue ball. I myself would have played a safety, but of course, I'm a safety player. Not much offense left in my game.
Long, difficult too. Certainly, you'd have to expect McCready to be ducking here as well.
Yeah, I kind of like McCready to bank the 2 ball in this direction over here. Well, he went for the pocket. You know, once again, a very aggressive player. You know, that time it worked out well for him. You know, kind of a fortuitous roll with the cue ball behind the black 8. And I'm certainly sure he's glad that shot's over, and the position he's left McCreesh in is a pretty difficult one.
And he seems quite content with that effort. Just doing a little tip maintenance there. Is the earthquake?
Now McCreesh will hit the cushion right here with a little low ball, which will curve into the 2 ball. So therefore, he figures to get some fairly good action. Oh, he's hitting high on the rail. Well, it didn't work out well for him. Now McCready, with his first legitimate opportunity, I'm kind of anxious to see and curious to see how well he responds.
Well, he did have the first opportunity in the opening rack, so he really can't afford to let this one go awry.
Fortunately, the pink 4 is right down at the same side of the table that the red 3 is on. So therefore, he really doesn't have to do much traveling with the cue ball. He's got to stay focused here. Very, very important shot coming up. Nicely struck.
One guarantee, too, when you're watching McCready is you're very apt to get some commentary, self-inflicted, as well as don't blink. You're apt to miss a few shots.
Now, this should be the last semi-difficult shot he'll have in this rack. He's put it down nicely. The 8 and 9, rather routine, Jim.
Both players know each other's games well. They've met in some of the smaller tour events. As a matter of fact, the last time they played, didn't McCreesh beat McCready?
And that's what McCready said. He said McCreesh ran 6 racks on him the last time.
Well, that levels the scoreline. 1 apiece now in the race to 11. Well, that was a must-win for Keith McCready. He had to try and keep McCreesh in his sights. It's early days, but the last thing you want to do is dig yourself a big hole, and especially when you get opportunities presented as that one was to McCready. He could ill afford to throw it away, and he didn't. So
exactly.
He'll be breaking now in rack number 3, Billy.
You mentioned earlier that McCready looked like he was very comfortable out there when he was practicing. And that's really was a good observation. I thought he was very comfortable too. And I do agree that we're gonna see McCready at his best here in this match.
Well, he's knocked the ball in off the break.
Now the problem he has here, Jim, is that the position of the 2 ball, way at the other end of the table, and the angle that he has on the 1 doesn't suggest to me that he can get down and attain a shot on the 2, ending up with the cue ball somewhere in this position here. That's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, he jacked up there. I think just trying to get that cue ball, put some distance between cue ball and 1. And he's left McCreesh half a chance. Looks like there is half a pocket to the left-hand side as we look.
You know, I kind of like, if there is any kind of a pocket here, I kind of like him going for this shot. The cue ball is going to 1 cushion, 2 cushions, and then swing down here, ending up here. If he happens to miss the 1 ball, then he also has the 7, or excuse me, the 6 in the I believe it's these 7 for protection. So therefore, he can walk away from the table even if he misses it in pretty good shape.
And that's the storyline. Attempted the 1, missed it, but he certainly doesn't look to have left it for McCready.
No, from my vantage point, it doesn't even look like McCready has a shot on the 1. So therefore, he's going to have to look at some sort of a safety. And from the position he was left in, that's going to be very, very difficult. But I'll tell you what, he hit it perfectly once again, Jim.
Great shot. Showed a lot of experience there. Played that off the top cushion, and what a perfect hit on the 1 ball.
I guess McCreesh is probably saying to himself, what do I have to do, to earn a shot here? Because McCree, the last 2 times he stepped to the table playing a safety, struck it perfectly.
And it's bottom and opening.
And once again, McCready steps to the table with ball in hand. And like you mentioned before, very comfortable McCready. We look for him to run out at this rack as well. Now the 6 ball position on the rail behind him now is a very difficult ball to play position for because you only have like 2 pockets to play position for it. So therefore, if he runs into a problem on this run out, it's going to be on the green at 6. All other balls are spread quite nicely over the table. Now here's the key shot from the 4 to the 5 to the green 6. He would like to attain an angle on the 5 right over here somewhere. So he can go down this way, and up here for the 6. But he didn't get that. He's on the wrong side of the 5, Jim. He may have a problem here. He cheated the pocket. Look how closely he's come to the 6. Great shot.
Fantastic control of the cue ball there. He had a very small margin for error. And what a great shot from McCready there, especially given that it's early days in this match, Billy. And to judge the speed that well, you got to tip your hat to McCready, certainly in that effort.
And it didn't take him long to pull the trigger.
Well, I think he'd like to have that one over again. He did everything except finish the rack.
Well, this isn't exactly what you call a gimme, Jim. Notice the distance between the cue ball and the 9 ball. This is a very, very difficult shot and a very important one as well. And if he even pockets the 9, he might even scratch 2 cushions up the other end of the table. Watch the action.
Well, far from easy, as you said, and that cue ball dangerously close to that top corner pocket.
But he was quite fortunate in the regard that the 9 ball really didn't position itself where it was just like a gimme shot. This is a very difficult bank. McCready definitely will go for the pocket here. Once again, McCree steps to the table with nothing that appealing. It looks like he's got a very long, testy shot on the 9.
Little nervous action with McCreesh there. And that cue ball wavering on the brink of that side pocket. Thankfully for McCreesh, it didn't depart the playing surface, but you'd have to expect McCready to get this. And get it, he did. It could have been a momentum swing. As it turns out, McCready can breathe a sigh of relief. 2-1, he leads Ryan McCreesh in the race to 11. Well, rack number 4 will be welcoming Keith McCready back to the table to break off, but things could have been so different.
They certainly could have, Jim. McCready was quite fortunate to have won that game. You know, the balls certainly are rolling in his favor up until this point. Now, the balls will not continue to roll in his favor. You know that as well as me.
Came up dry there. So McCreesh, one thing you have to say that both players are getting their chances.
But once again, you know, McCree steps to the table with nothing easy to shoot here. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see him play another safe. Well, no, he didn't do that. He opted to shoot for the 1, leaving McCready straight in on the 1. Now, but the position of the 2 is right here. He will draw the cue ball straight back to around this position over here, where he's drawing it past there, assuring himself of a shot on the blue 2.
A little unlucky to have dropped right on top of that 8, so it's going to be hampered cueing. No problems for McCready. This is just the sort of position you'd throw him out if you were practicing.
Exactly. Everything seems to be connected dots from here. Notice the purple 4, the pink 4, the orange 5, the green 6. Everything is conveniently placed on the table. All he needs to do is stay focused, don't lose any concentration, and he should be able to run the balls.
Yeah, as I always say, Billy, let that back arm do what it's done for countless hours on the practice table and in pressure matches leading up to this.
This is the kind of a layout I would like to have. I'd feel very comfortable with this.
You also get the feeling that if McCready gets his tail up here, he could run away and hide on McCreesh.
And 9-ball is the type of a game, if you get yourself in stroke, in good rhythm, you know, it just seems like everything else seems to play very, very easy. Now, McCreesh, on the other hand, he's the one that's been struggling because he really hasn't had very many legitimate opportunities at the table for him to get in stroke. McCready, on the other hand, has. So we still look for McCready to play very well, and the balls are cooperating up until now.
Well, 3-1s in the bank now for Keith McCready. 4 in the books, and he's got a 2-rack cushion. Keith McCready will be breaking off in rack number 5.
No extra choice.
And he cleared the table in that last rack, looking very comfortable, playing at a speed that very few can match. And that in itself can be very intimidating. So here we go, rack 5. Got a ball down.
And keep in mind, the pressures are continuing to mount on McCreesh because he's falling further and further behind. And you know what? It's not his fault.
Well, another situation that just a couple good positional shots, assuming that he gets the ball.
Excellent shot, Jim. Notice the position of the 2. He had to go 2 cushions and hit the ball very clean to attain the shot on the 2 that he did.
Certainly not many empty seats there on center stage either, Bill. It's
No,
day 1 here in Chesapeake, and the fans support this event like no other I've seen anywhere on the planet.
Now, this is crucial here, Jim. He would like to end up right here on the 3 because he wants to end up here on the 4. Considering the 5 is here, he wants to go off the 4, 1 cushion down this way.
Looked like you could have drawn a happy face there.
Now, he's on the correct side of the 3 to be on because he would like to end up once again. He would like to end up anywhere around here for the 4.
Right now, there's only one player smiling, and it's not the player in his chair.
Now, this is the key shot in the rack, going from the 4 to the orange 5 at the other end of the table, and he has hit it with the speed to get off that second cushion. Okay, now he's found himself a little awkward on the 5, Jim. He may have a problem controlling the cue ball to play position for the 6 in the lower corner. Evidently not. He hit it perfectly, and it was a lot easier than I thought.
Yes, our camera angle sometimes can be a little deceptive, even to our folks at home watching. But he certainly doesn't want to be straight on this.
Oh, well, he's going to end up straight and maybe behind the point of the corner pocket, not allowing him to even see the 7 ball.
You know, Billy, we watched him in practice, and he put a ball over the pocket and drew it full length and half again back up. He is cueing the ball as well as I've seen him in a long time. And there, he overdrew that by a good foot.
This is what a hit. I mean, what a hit. You have no idea how difficult it was for him to do what he did.
Ryan McCreesh knows. He's the man suffering right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. If he pockets the 9 here, Jim, what an out. Oh my, what an out. This is the second 9 he's missed in this match. But I tell you what, the balls that preceded that shot, he certainly played extremely well. Unfortunately, you only get the count of the score on the 9. That's the only ball that counts.
Well, Ryan McCreesh steps out of his chair to deposit the 9. Thankfully, pulls one back. It's 3-2, McCready over McCreesh here. Well, that was one that got away.
Yeah, he played well in the rack.
He escaped unscathed the first time he missed a 9. That time, not so lucky.
No. And you know, I think that was kind of like justice because McCreesh has really been getting the short end of this up to that point. Now, if McCreesh breaks the balls, pockets the ball on the break, comes up with a shot, he has a chance to get into that rhythm. He enjoys playing it.
And 9-ball, the nature of this game, you can string a few racks together, keep your opponent in his chair, take him out of stroke.
Yeah, Mike Sigel said, 9-ball is a game of momentum. It always changes. It's up to you to sustain that momentum if given the opportunity.
And that is an ideal break for McCreesh. He's landed nicely on the 1, the 2 at the same area of the table as the 1.
That's what I was referring to, Jim. Now McCreesh has an opportunity to sustain the momentum if he pockets a ball on the break and comes up with a shot, which he's done.
Well, that wasn't his best effort. Position to the 2. He's got to play safe now.
Excellent shot. Notice the position of the cue ball, right in between the 4 and the 7. He should have walked away with a better lead than this. I thought perhaps he may have hooked him. Had he hit or brushed the pink, the cue ball would have then been behind the 6 and the 7. That was an excellent hit. He was unfortunate for the 2 to hit that corner.
Still leaving McCree snookered though, but a much easier escape than had that 2 been further away.
Exactly. Watch for the scratch here. He could scratch on the shot somewhere.
Billy, you're a prophet. Who do you like in the 7th race at Aqueduct tomorrow?
I really never had much luck with the horses, Joe.
Well, you heard the applause early. Right in line, they knew that McCready had fluked that 2-ball.
Not only did he luck the 2 in, notice position of the 3, the 4. Everything is open. Considering how he landed on the 3 opens the door for the rest of the rack. Oh, excuse me, that's the 7. I apologize. The 4 was the next ball.
Oh, he just bumped that 5. Didn't want to be quite so close to his work.
Looks like he can drop down to the side cushion here, Jim, for a position for the 6 in the side.
Played that with a little bit of right-hand spin on that cue ball. Just straighten it out, play that 6 into the side pocket. And in fairness, Billy, the hard work has been done in this one. The fluke 2, pivotal.
Exactly. He needs to stop anywhere in this area here for the 8. He doesn't want to get too straight on the 8, Jim. He had a natural angle had he stopped where the X was. When he's gotten down table a little bit further, and now he has to do something a little extra with the cue ball. And anytime you do something extra with the cue ball, bad things can happen.
That is a mistake that, again, Keith McCready will be taken back to his chair. And Ryan McCreesh comes up, pocketing the simplest of 9s for 2 in a row. And more importantly, squaring things up here in the U.S. Open. It's now 3 racks apiece.
Yeah, this match could have been all McCready had he been a little more careful on a couple of 9s and also on his position on the later balls, that time the 8. McCreesh would have been in his chair wondering when he was going to get a legitimate opportunity. But McCready, on the other hand, has been very generous in giving him opportunities.
Rack number 7 awaits. Nothing between these 2 players as yet, but it certainly has a few storylines that have materialized more than not. And mistakes from McCready.
Yeah, and we're just over 25% of the match. That's all. You know, we still have 75% of this match left. And like I said before, you can always expect the unexpected. We already have 2 missed 9 balls, missed position on the 8, 3-3 score.
Watch out, cue ball. Very close that side pocket. Got one into the corner, but he's got no shot on the 1 here at all. I think you're apt to see a little push out here, and you got to be, well, possibly not, because if he pushed out, he may be leaving McCready a very good chance at the hook.
You know what I think he's looking at here? I think he's looking at the carom off the 2 with the 1. If he back kicks the 1 contacts the 2 and could possibly go into the pocket. I think that's what he's looking for. Let's see what happens. If he plays that shot, the cue ball figures to go up this way. He may find himself out of line for the blue 2. See, look what okay, well, he pocketed the 1, and he was quite fortunate to come up with a real good shot on the 2, because the cue ball was going in the other direction, but it got a kiss and stayed down this end of the table. Very big shot coming up, Jim.
Well, he knows momentum has changed chairs, and he's not quite willing to let it go back the other side just yet.
Now let's see if my sources were right about the talent out there in McCreesh. They say that he's a talent, and now he's gotten the opportunities to prove that.
Just looking for the rest or the rake right now. Got a full pocket. Just wants to get this back up for the green 6.
You know, I kind of like swinging 2 cushions around on that shot, Jim. He liked 1 cushion. And with a lot of inside angle, he's made that shot play even more difficult. He was fortunate to get a good kiss on the 9 ball. He does have a legitimate shot on the 6. This is a natural angle here, Jim. All he needs to do is pocket the 6. The cue ball then goes 2 cushions down table for the 7, naturally.
You just get the feeling watching Ryan that he's starting to get a little more comfortable out there. And that's not going to spell a happy story for Keith McCready.
No, he's starting to get comfortable, as you mentioned, and I do believe he has a better break than McCready. So therefore, if he gets comfortable and his break starts clicking, it could be, you know, good night Irene for McCready.
A break and finish for Ryan McCreesh, and he sees his first lead of this match. 4-3 in front of Keith McCready, and he'll be breaking in rack number 8.
Yeah, I kind of like what he did with the 1 off the 2. He realized that it was a real good possibility of pocketing the 1 off the 2, opposed to playing some low percentage safety. So therefore, he opted to play the shot, pocketed the ball, got rewarded for it, and finished it off with a run out.
Quick check of the rack. Happy. And down to the other end of the table to try and park one into the bottom of a pocket.
Another well-struck break by McCreesh, this time coming up dry, but I don't know if he's left McCready a shot, Jim. The 2 ball may be in between the 1 and the cue ball, precluding him from pocketing the 1.
I think Keith McCready will be very anxious to try and make amends for the mistake that allowed McCreesh to get back into this match.
He jumped over the 2 slightly because he didn't have enough room to pocket it without jumping over it. Struck it very nicely.
And no applause there, Billy, but certainly that shot deserved it.
Absolutely. But McCready has to be very, very careful not to get careless again, because that's already cost him several games, Jim.
Could it be the speed with which he plays? Do you think carelessness can slip into his game somewhat?
Absolutely. I feel that with the speed that he plays, he is, for lack of a better word, a careless type of a player. But, you know, when he was playing his best pool, he played with the same speed, but yet he was extremely accurate and always ran out. So I don't know, you know.
Well, he was a legend a few years ago.
Nicely positioned between the 7 and the 8 with the cue ball. Has a nice shot on the 6. He has to stay focused here. Key shot in the remainder of the rack. Nicely once again positioned. Both the 7, 8 in the center of the table. Shouldn't have, once again I'll mention, he shouldn't have any problems. He would have liked to have obtained the other angle on the 8, dropping him closer to the 9. Now he's going to have to settle for a little more. Well, no, he has the angle to go around the table. Very wisely executed and nicely executed in a wise choice. He won't miss this 9, Jim.
No, he's letting the crowd know he's happy with that effort. 9 deposited, back on square pegging here. 4-4. Nothing in it between these two, but at least McCready has assured himself of the break in rack 9.
Yeah, McCree definitely needed that opportunity and made well with it.
He's a fan favorite everywhere he goes simply because of his natural flair for the game. He's obviously very wanting to have a chit chat with the fans as he plays, whether the match is serious or not. So he's a very likable man. Very easy to like.
Yes, he is. He's a very entertaining player. Always picks up the support of the crowd. They all seem to like the very charismatic McCready. And once again, nothing on the break. He did pocket a ball on the break, though.
He did, but he's got a problem area. It looks like the 3 and the 7. The left-hand side of our picture could pose problems, but the good news for McCready or McCreesh, whichever one gets the look at it, is the close proximity to the 2. They could even dislodge them.
Yeah, I kind of like 2 cushions with the cue ball sitting around in this fashion here. You pocketed the 1.
How about that? He opened up the problem right away, but he hasn't landed perfectly on the 2. A very fine cut if he elects to take this one into the side pocket.
Very difficult shot in the side. I look for him. He's looking to bank it and draw the cue ball back.
Two-way shot. The 2's in, but he's not on the 3. I've got a feeling he didn't want that one, Billy.
Well, not after he saw where the cue ball positioned himself behind the 7. Naturally, he would have liked the 2 not to have fallen, but that wasn't the case. But he's got a pretty easy safety here, Jim. And just go behind the orange 5 very softly.
Ryan just lost the last rack. 4-3 behind. He really wants to try and assert himself here.
A lot of crazy things can happen on this shot, Jim. A lot of balls there for something crazy to happen. Notice. Oh, he almost scratched in the corner pocket. You know. Now what happened? From my vantage point, Jim, I'm not sure if he can pocket the 3.
No, absolutely not. And if McCready's reaction is any indication, I don't think he can.
Now we can look at his body language to find out, in fact, if he does have a shot.
Can he even strike the 3? Never mind pocket it.
Well, I do believe he can hit it. I don't know if he can pocket it, though.
He's jacked up.
Nope. He couldn't even hit it. Well, it's 4-4, Jim, and once again, McCreesh does have an opportunity at the table, and a good one. And this time, with the pocketing of the remaining balls on the table, he'll have taken the lead for the first time in the match.
Keith doubtfully will be heading to the lottery machine after that effort. That was very unlucky. That cue ball could easily have dropped in and left McCready cue ball in hand. As it is, it's McCreesh at the table, and he'll be putting pay to this rack. A nice angle on the 7 to take the cue ball up table to the 8.
Yeah, and it was crucial for him to attain the angle that he did, considering the position of the 8. But he's gotten pretty close to the cushion, Jim, and once again, you know, when you position the cue ball on or near a cushion, it could present problems. He's a quick pace player as well.
9 down, 4-4 the score. The mistakes have come more from McCready, but that one, certainly Lady Luck playing a card and helping out Ryan McCreesh. So rack 9, and McCreesh will be breaking off as McCready sets the Sardo rack in motion. That Sardo rack has really revolutionized the game, hasn't it, Billy?
It certainly has. It's more or less leveled the playing field, if you will. And what I mean by that is every time the balls are pushed up, they're very tightly racked, and everyone has about the same action on the break. There isn't any mistakes pushing up the balls, giving someone a bad rack, if you will. Not that it's intentional, but at times, you know, accidentally you get a bad rack. But the Sardo rack prevents that from happening.
Yes, the scoreline actually 5-4 in favor of McCreesh right now. I think I may have mentioned 4-4, but it's McCreesh that's actually just got his nose in front.
Nicely executed shot. He had a masse that ball. And he does have an opportunity to hit the 2. I don't know if he can hit. I don't know if he can cut it in. I don't know if he can see that side of the ball. And if he can, that shot doesn't play that simple either. Well, it's very difficult at times to pull the trigger on that type of a shot, because if you don't execute it well, you sell out. No, he could scratch here too, Jim. And, you know, it's a big pocket down there. You have to be careful. Okay. It's very, very important for him to have hit that ball on the right side of the 2, which he wasn't able to do.
With ball in hand here, how important is it for Keith McCready to clear up and get the break back in his corner?
Nicely executed shot in terms of the speed of the cue ball. Notice how nicely he repositioned the cue ball. Perfect line for the red 3, Jim. If the 5 passes the 9, that'll help immensely. The 6 can only be pocketed past the 9 in the lower left-hand corner. So therefore, he has to come up with a shot on the 5 to attain that angle on the 6 if he expects to run out. Oh, he's opting to bank the 6 cross side. Evidently, he didn't have the angle on the 5 to drop nicely for the 6. And once again, nicely executed shot, but this isn't a gimme either. It looks like it's a little awkward. He's going to have to hit this well. Falling a little short. He would have liked to come down table another 6 to 10 inches. But nevertheless, he's doing his job.
I wiggled it in. Here he is.
Well, he's found his voice again. The long 9. And 10 racks are in the books here. 5 apiece. McCreesh and McCready. Their names are similar. The games are similar. And very little to choose between these 2 right now.
Yes, there is. Very little to choose from. And I'm not coming off rather critical when we're doing the commentary. It's so easy for us up here to call how the hell it should be done. Down there, much more difficult. McCready's playing extremely well. Only if those 2 9s he missed wasn't missed, this match would have been just about over by now.
Yeah, you take those 2 away from McCreesh and put them on McCready's side of the score line, and 7-3. So that's just how big those 2 are, Billy. Does he come up dry again?
But then we wouldn't have the suspense that we have. You know, 5-5, anything can happen from this point.
The break has not been an ally for Keith McCready in this match. Is there a possibility here? He's just looking to see.
Well, I would push for a kick. I would not do this. This I would not do, okay? But he's giving McCree too easy of an opportunity to play him safe. But he did get down table with the cue ball far enough not for him to be able to play this simple safety like that. I believe that he's gotten the cue ball down far enough. Now the cue ball, the action that he's going to get off the cue ball will be somewhere like this. And so it's going to be more difficult for him to control the cue ball here. Notice, he went into the 9 that way. Now he's left him he's left him a shot on the 1. Not a good one, but nevertheless a shot. I kind of like following the cue ball behind the 3, like here. Very nicely executed. From the distance he was left, he hit that shot extremely well.
And Keith in a whole world of trouble right now. A very difficult hit on this one. And what's more is if he does hit it, he's going to be knocking it down towards the corner pocket.
Very difficult hit here, Jim. I wouldn't be surprised to see him not hit the 1 ball.
Yeah,
Very difficult
looks like
hit.
the 7 takes that long bank away.
Yes, it does. And he really doesn't have much margin for error kicking to the left of the 5. And what I mean by that is he doesn't have much margin for error kicking this way. I don't see how he's going to hit this ball, Jim. It's very difficult hit. Now, once again, McCree steps to the table. Balls are spread nicely over the table, 5-5. He's got an opportunity to nudge ahead once again. The key shot in this rack is the red 3 to the pink 4. That's going to be the problem in this rack. He's going to have to position the cue ball very nicely. He would like to position the cue ball here, somewhere around here for the 3. Anywhere around there would be fine. That's nicely struck, Jim. Notice how beautifully he controlled the cue ball.
Now, in seeing Ryan McCreesh play, and given his lack of experience, you know, in front of the TV cameras, you have to be impressed with how he's held himself together.
Yeah, how can you not be impressed? You know, this is his first time playing in the Open, probably his first time in a major tournament on television, you know, and he's holding up rather well. Matter of fact, quite well. Took a little extra time on that shot, didn't he, Jim? A little out of character,
I
if you would.
think he knew that was the winner, Billy.
Yeah.
Once he got that one, the rest were going to be sitting ducks.
There's a question I'd like to ask you after this rack is over. Kind of interested in seeing how you answer it.
9 deposited, and again, McCreesh just in front, 6-5, and just over the halfway stage in this opening round clash between these two players.
If he's more productive when he takes his time, why doesn't he always take his time?
It's a very instinctive game, Poole, isn't it? Any cue sport, in fact. I mean, you get a player like Luke Salvis who plays at warp speed. I mean, how could you possibly ask him to slow down?
But yet McCreesh did.
Well, yeah, and yet when you see a mistake, Billy, you have to, it just looks too much like it's a careless error.
Yes.
But I'll let you tell him.
No, I'm not going to tell him anything. Look at, he looks like a little pit bull. Nicely struck break once again. I don't know if he's going to pocket a ball, but he certainly hit the one squarely.
Well, he's come up dry. The break right now seems to have deserted both these players, so it's going to be a longer, more arduous path to victory in each rack.
Okay, now he possibly might be able to draw the cue ball somewhere in this area here. I don't know. Well, no, obviously he's opting to do something different. And what he's looking to do, I don't know, but it's going to be difficult. Nicely struck, Jim. Notice him how he repositioned the one ball with the proper speed, and that wasn't easy.
Now, is there a little valley between the 6 and the 3 here? It looks like it.
Yes,
possible bank.
If there is, McCready is quite unfortunate to have left it.
Well, he went full throttle at the bank shot, and he's left the 1 for McCready.
Very interesting match, Jim. 6-5, McCready with an opportunity. Let's see how well he responds. Key shot. Balls are spread nicely over the table. If he can come up with a shot on the red 3, the remainder of the balls lay rather routinely on the table. Notice how nicely they're laying, Jim.
And again, in perfect position now. Won't have to move that cue ball around at all. A couple stop shots, really.
He just can't afford to get careless. That's all. If he keeps his mind on his business, stays focused, this rack should be his.
Been a very interesting match from the outset. McCready vaulted in front 3-1. A missed 9 allowed McCreesh back in. Now it's just been firing daggers at each other.
Yeah, they more or less have been trading off games, keeping it close. Very sharply contested match by both players. Very exciting match. And in this type of a match, you know something crazy is going to happen for one or the other to see who wins this match. You want something real crazy is going to happen in this match.
Yeah, you do certainly get the feeling that there's going to be a few more hiccups in this one.
Something real bizarre is going to happen in this match, Jim. Look at this shot. He loves to draw that rock.
Well, I said earlier that he was cueing the ball very well, and if that isn't an indication of it, Billy, I don't know what is. 9 down, 6 apiece. Ryan McCreesh and Keith McCready are serving up quite a feast here on day one.
And when two players are that familiar with one another as McCready and McCreesh are, you expect a closely contested match. You expect this, okay, and that's what we're getting. And I'll tell you what, it's an entertaining match as well.
Yeah, the fans very appreciative. Neither one of these players wilting at all.
Little packet, Buddy Hall.
He's starting to get a little vocal out there.
And that spells ominous signs for Ryan McCreesh. If McCready starts getting vocal, well, unless that cue ball gets kicked into the corner like that, that's a showstopper in anybody's book.
Yes, it is. Okay, now he has a choice here. He would like to play the 1-7 combination. That shot plays rather simply, but he has to be careful that he controls the 1 ball here. If he hits it and loses control of the 1 ball, he'll be in a lot of trouble here. He made sure he controlled the 1 ball, hitting the inside of the 7. Very intelligent shot. Very nicely executed as well. Once again, position on the 3 ball was crucial. He has to get some type of an angle on the 3 to pocket the 3 and come across table for the 4. So he's going to land pretty straight. You don't want to get real straight on this shot. If he gets too straight or awkward, he may have a problem attaining a shot on the pink 4.
You have to give us a Keith McCready here and draw this right back unless he can force it through.
Taking a little extra time. Very nicely executed shot, Jim. Watch out behind the green 6. Watch out.
He had a little angle there. It didn't look like he did with our overhead perspective, but how about this? He's having a little chat with McCready. I wonder if Keith didn't say something about the way that Ryan struck that one, because that was hit very purely.
And when you refer to a player, how well he plays his patterns, I think that's a little weak area in McCreesh's game, the way he plays his patterns, you know, because on certain key shots, all you need to do is position the cue ball in an area on the table, and the remainder of the rack should play simply, you know, very routinely. And he's failed to do that a couple times, and that's not real good pattern playing. But in spite of that, he's been able to stay close to McCready, and now it looks like he's going to take the lead.
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it, Billy. He looks pretty good value right now.
Yes, he does. He has a lot of good points in this game, a lot of strengths, and he's taking advantage of them too. He's got a great break, a good shot maker, and he looks like he's got a lot of heart and determination.
He's keeping it simple, and he now leads 7-6 in the race to 11. And McCree should be breaking off in rack number 14. But he mopped up there very nicely. Parked McCree in his chair. And he'll be looking to duplicate that effort if he gets his wish here in rack 14. But they're nearing the business end of this match. And mistakes are going to be magnified a little bit more, and the pressure as well.
Absolutely. The later in the match it gets, the more pressure comes into play. And that's what makes the difference, okay? Who handles the pressures the best? And that's what separates the men from the boys, Jim, you know? And it's not easy at times to handle the pressures.
You see McCready with a big grin on his face right over Ryan McCreesh's back there. I think that might be a grin outward.
Boy, he really strikes the balls with power. You know, I'm very impressed with his ability to open up the balls.
I don't know whether Keith can see enough pocket to be able to try and slot this one home.
Not only that, the position of the blue 2 is in a very curious position. Parked on top of the pink 4, creating problems for him to attain a shot on the 2, even if he does pocket the 1.
I wonder if he attacked there, Billy.
He sure tried to pocket the 1. I know it's positioned in the cue ball. Had he pocketed the 1, I don't even know if he would have come up with a shot on the 2. But he hasn't left McCreesh a very easy opportunity either. So therefore, McCreesh has a lot of work in front of him and starts off on the 1 ball. Now he's looking to see if he pockets the 1, where the cue ball is going to go. It's going to go toward the 9. Perhaps even, he may even get a little lucky here in pocketing the 9. There it goes. Oh, he pocketed the 1. Excellent shot, Jim. I'm really impressed with his ability to pocket balls.
He's a great shot maker. He fundamentally looks very sound. He delivers that cue nicely through that cue ball.
I kind of like this shot. I kind of like him shooting the 2 off the 4. Cue ball going 1, 2 cushions, 3 cushions, and down here eventually. That's the shot I like. Well, if he can pocket the 2, forget about all that crazy stuff. But if he can't pocket the 2, I kind of like that shot. Yeah, once again, if he can't pocket the 2, I kind of like the cue ball 1, 2 cushions, 3, and then down here. So he played it a little bit differently. See, notice how the cue ball was going in that direction? Now, if he would have hit it hard, he would have down to the bottom cushion, left a lot of distance and possibly no shot off on the 2. Looks like he left him a little window here. And if he did, he doesn't figure to step back to the table with a good shot. Well, it looks like McCree's going to get a little lucky here. Possibly. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. But right away, notice the position of the 3. Right here. The 2 right here. How does he get positioned for the 3, Jim?
That's going to be the storyline in this rack. That positional shot will hold the key to victory or failure.
Exactly. So his only active viable route would be somewhere in this area here. And he's fallen short of the mark. But he still has left himself with a fairly easy safety. A nicely executed shot, leaving McCready nothing to hit directly, but he has to kick. And he looks like he can kick and get some good results with this shot. It looks like if he kicks off his cushion, Jim, into the 3 ball, the 3 ball will then depart this way, the cue ball will then depart this way. He has to be careful he doesn't scratch here. But of course, you know, he doesn't have much offered to him.
To play that shot, Billy, I think he'd be massing around the 6. So you'll see him raise the back end of his cue as McCREESH looks on.
And that's exactly what he has to do, Jim. Look, he may even pocket the red 3 here. Nope. But he's found the position behind the 9 with the cue ball, making this particular opportunity quite difficult for McCreesh. Even if he pockets the 3 ball with his masse, the pink 4 ball positioned at the other end of the table, making it very difficult to come up with a shot on the 4. A lot of work. He's opted to go to his jump cue here. I kind of like it and don't like it. I like it because he has the ability to pocket his 3 and reposition the cue ball for the 4. But I don't like it because if he jumps over the 9, he may jump off the table. So therefore, this shot carries good things and bad things. Well, he hit the 3 ball too square to attain any type of a shot on the 4.
Chance here to try and drop that cue ball in behind some cover in the form of the 5 or the 6.
A snooker player's shot, huh, Jim? Repositioning the cue ball behind the 5 and the 6 would be ideal. And right away, my friend here to my right noticed that shot was available. He struck it perfectly. Not that time.
Cue ball in hand for McCreesh, and that should spell the end of rack number 14. And for Ryan McCreesh, a glorious opportunity for him to enjoy his first 2-rack lead of this match.
But he can't afford to get careless here, Jim. Going from the 5 to the 6 could present somewhat of a problem if he doesn't end up pretty good on the 5. It doesn't figure to have a problem, but he could. See, he's being very careful. Notice how he's looking at the 5. That's the key shot. He knows where the key shots are, but he has to make sure that he gets the right angle off the 5 to drop nicely for the 6. He stayed on the correct side of the 5. Now all he needs to do is pocket the 5, bring the cue ball back about 6 to 8 inches. He's going to have a nice shot on the 6. And he's going to have the ability to cut the 6 in and go cross table for position on the 7. I kind of like him drawing this shot opposed to going 2 cushions. I kind of like drawing it over here and out here. If he's going 2 cushions, he's going to get it further away from the 7. Had he drawn the ball, he would have been closer. But that, you can't really argue with that. That's pretty good. That's, as a matter of fact, that's real good.
We said at the outset, this was a very difficult opening match for both players, and has proven just that.
And I thought it was going to be more difficult for McCree since he was more the inexperienced player. But that's not looking like it's true. It looks like McCree is handling the pressures quite well. And once again, nicely struck ball.
Choice of pockets, side pocket or corner. Just a matter of personal preference. Side it is, and Ryan McCreesh with a flick of the cue knows he's just got himself 2 racks clear. 8-6, he wants 3 more to survive this first round clash against Keith McCready.
And this is the first time in the match that McCree has had a 2-game lead. And as well as he's performed up to this point, now he's got a 2-game cushion, so he should be pretty comfortable.
And neither player has really put any surge together as far as the break is concerned. And if you're a McCready fan, you're hoping that trend continues.
Exactly. Last year, McCready finished 3rd in this event. If he goes on to lose this match, he's going to have his work cut out for him to do as well as he did last year.
Yeah, it'd be a tall order to come back from the loser's side. It's got all kinds of power, does Ryan McCreesh. 6 into the side, and he is perfect this time.
Certainly is. He certainly is. McCree real fidgety in his chair, realizing now that this match is slipping away from him.
Oh, it's dire straits for Keith McCready, the lay of the land. Means that McCready is staring 9-6 smack in the face.
The ball is in position really nicely on the table, Jim. He has options. He has a lot of options what he can do from the 3 to the 4. You know, this is a very, very difficult situation for McCready to deal with. He's defenseless in his chair. He really can't do anything about what's happening. I don't know. If the 4 passes the 5, it's okay. But if it doesn't, he's going to have a problem. I think that he was a little bit careless in shooting that shot because he had a lot better pockets to play position for the 4 in than that side pocket which he tried to play in. I don't agree with the playing position for the 4 in the side that he tried to play position for it in. Now he has to be very careful.
Well, he's going to come up with a great shot. If he plays this in the side, that cue ball is going to be moving.
Yeah.
And as we've already seen, Billy, you start sending that cue ball loose, and it's an equation for disaster.
Like I mentioned before, if he has any weaknesses in his game, it's his patterns. And I don't like, you know, his choice of patterns once again on that shot. But in spite of that, he's been able to play extremely well, and he's been very productive in this match. Once again, you know, he's created a little bit of a problem for himself. That time, he wasn't able to shoot his way out of it.
A glimmer of hope for McCready. He needs to capitalize on that mistake.
He certainly does. He really hasn't had that many opportunities. McCreesh has been really stubborn and selfish, giving up opportunities. McCready once again at the table with a decent shot here to win this rack.
Well, this one couldn't really have finished much worse, though.
Watch out. Hit it with nice pocket speed. Definitely needs this rack, Jim.
Beautifully cued there. Now I'll be able to work that cue ball closer to the 9 off this 8.
Seems like it's a little awkward here. A little awkward. You had to follow it. Now once again, not a gimme.
No, this is a very similar shot that we saw McCready miss earlier in this match.
Good observation, but not that time.
He couldn't afford to miss it that time. 8-7, he pulls one back and a sigh of relief with it. And McCready will be breaking in rack number 16 of a possible 21. And McCree's shaking his head as he racks the balls too, Billy. He knows that he had this one in his grasp. After the break and the way the balls were sitting up nicely for him, it was only going to be a mistake from within.
Yes, but then it would have lessened the suspense in this match, but that's not what happened. A lot of suspense left in this match. 8-7 McCready breaking.
Give me a ball one time.
He's not going to get one. He's not going to get one. And it looks like the McCreesh can stretch over the table and quite possibly be able to cut the 1 in, Jim. Not that time. And the cue ball is going to come around table, I think maybe far enough for him to have some type of action on the 1, maybe rail first. With a slight masse, he can go rail first here, Jim. He can't hit this too hard, though. The 2 balls positioned very nicely. Looks like he struck it nice.
So vital, though, in this game, Billy. If you're gonna dominate, you've got to have a big break. And if McCready does have an Achilles heel, it really has to be in the form of his break.
Exactly. And it's a very valid point you brought up there. And he's been able to defeat the best players in the world consistently with his inferior break, if you will.
That's just how good of a shot maker he is.
Watch out. Watch out. Now that's carelessness. That's pure carelessness. Notice the 7 blocks the pocket for the 4. Had he come up with a shot on the 4, he has fallen, I think, too short. Yeah, well, evidently not. This is the key shot here, Jim. Can he attain a shot on the 5?
Just has to clear that 6, draw this back towards the middle of the table.
I kind of look.
Play it, sorry, Billy, or I was going to say play it to the bottom side as we look here. Just his choice.
Yeah, I kind of like for him to go up this way here. And I think he's gotten down table far enough to come up with a shot on the 5. And if that's the case, which it looks like it is, this rack should play really routinely, or the remainder of the rack.
It's been a roller coaster ride. Both of these players have had glimpses of looking like they could run away and hide. It just hasn't materialized as yet.
That's certainly not the case, Jim. This match is up for grabs.
Well, Keith McCready, if and when he deposits this 9, will be back into the role of favorite in this match. And it does. Down, an 8-8 the scoreline, confirmed, but it's going to be McCready to break in rack 17. And he's got to sort out a successful equation for that break.
Yeah, you mentioned that his break is probably what's cost him a lot of matches, and it doesn't seem to be nearly as effective or productive as McCree's break. And I totally agree with that. So once again, we're going to find out how well he does off the break, and he hasn't really done that well in the past. It looks like the pink 4 may go, but it didn't. How about the orange 5? Yes, it does.
He willed that one into the pocket. I don't know whether he's got a shot at the 1 here, Billy, but certainly he can maintain the initiative, play a good attacking safety.
Just rolling on.
Oh, I think he went for the one. That one had that side pocket available, and that's a huge mistake.
Clearly went for the one. So he can pocket the one, but what's going to happen with the cue ball? Is he going to brush the 9, not allowing himself to come up with a shot? If he does, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Got away from the 9. Nicely struck ball, Jim. 8-8. There's a lot of pressures out there right now. Every opportunity either one of these players get, they have to make good with. Now he's looking at the 3 past the 8 in the upper right-hand corner. Does he have enough room to pocket it? He thinks so. I don't know. Is he going toward the other side of the table for the... Look, he's looking at the upper right-hand corner, and he's got an off angle on this shot. This is a very difficult shot. Oh, what a beautifully executed shot that was.
And he couldn't have picked a better time to pull that rabbit out of a hat.
He's a very gutsy player, Jim.
He's just got that look about him, Billy. And when the going gets tough, he is capable of digging in and producing some of his best.
Shoots pure to the pocket. Center pocket, center pocket, center pocket. Very difficult player to beat.
So many of these players play on some of the minor tours around the States. But you know, they're no strangers when it comes to match experience.
He got a little lazy there, Jim. Got a little lazy. Now he has an option. You can play the shot 2 ways. You can go 1 cushion over here, or you go 2 cushions over here. That was natural and much easier than I thought.
The missed one proving costly for McCready, and he's back out of his chair to rack the balls for McCreesh. 9-8. Ryan McCreesh in front.
McCreesh wants this badly. He's playing from within. I can see it in his demeanor. He really wants this match badly. He's not allowing anything to interfere with his concentration. And that's really a good sign in a young player, Jim. He's able to keep it together mentally, and that's very difficult for a young player to do, particularly, you know, with the pressures the U.S. Open has. You know, it's really difficult to do that. He's handling it quite well. Not happy with the rack. He's asking for a re-rack.
As we near the finish line, this rack, and with it the ensuing break, becomes that much bigger from both players' vantage points. As McCreesh puts a good one together here, he'll really put the pressure on Keith McCready.
Oh, what power he has. I mean, look at the balls just flow into the pockets. Look at these pocketed 3 balls on the break, and they all have taken their places. Look at them. Look at the layout here.
They unfolded like a flower for him, Billy.
Could have very easily pocketed 5 balls on the break. The 8 could have fallen, and the 7 could have. The 5 could have fallen, or the 7 could have fallen. He missed the 1 ball. Really an unexpected thing happening there.
I wonder if he still hadn't gathered himself from a terrific break-off, but McCready, with his shoulders slumped, tells you that nothing inviting awaits his visit.
Very difficult shot to shoot. Wow, look at this shot. Oh my goodness, what a shot, Jim. What a shot. Oh wow, and he needed it so badly.
He needs one more. Look at McCreesh.
This shot carries a lot of pressure with it, Jim. He's got to shoot off the cushion and softly roll it. Oh my. Looks like he's going to get fortunate here.
Well, who would begrudge him getting a little lucky? I don't know whether it's happened. I think he can get through to this.
If he can hit the outside of the pink ball, the billiard seems to be right there.
That 4 ball never threatened the corner pocket, Billy. Just a lot of body movement, and McCready's cue action there.
He's going to be okay, McCreesh. You know, McCready really definitely had an opportunity there. I don't know what he had in mind, Jim. I mean, from how he hit that ball, I don't know what he had in mind. And it's a crucial time of the match.
Cheating the pocket on that one.
And he needed to cheat the pocket on that particular shot, Jim, to get the speed that he needed to get off the cue ball. Had he hit that ball a little fuller, he would have never gotten down table far enough for a shot this easy on the 6. Nicely executed shot.
It's a beautiful thing when you can miss a 1 like Ryan McCreesh did and still get back to the table and win the rack. Helps to erase the memories of that bad miss.
Yeah, exactly. Particularly when it's so late in the match, it feels so much better.
9 down, and McCreesh finds himself on the hill, 10-8. He wants one more rack to move into the A side second round.
It's going to be a long, long road for McCready if he goes on and loses this match. This is the first match of the tournament for both of these players. And it's not often. I don't even remember when the last time the pair lost the first match and went on to win a major event. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. Once again, McCreesh inspecting the rack, making sure all balls are frozen before he strikes the break.
Well, that's been the difference in this match for me. McCreesh's success rate on his break compared to McCready's.
That's an excellent point, Jim. This match was won by the power of McCreesh's break. And also, I'm not going to sell him short, you know, pretty good execution as well.
So the finish line appears.
And I do believe he's going to close McCready out. He's not going to allow himself to get careless in this rack because, you know, he has the skills, obviously, to do what he's been doing. And if he gets a little bit careless, that'll stop him. But I don't think he's going to get careless in this rack. This is for the dough. This is for the cheese. This is for the match. And he wants to make sure he closes them out. But McCree is capable of coming from behind, as he's done so many times. McCree can close the door on him here.
And he doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball. Just follow through slightly. Leave himself a nice angle on that 4 to drop onto the orange 5 next. Nothing short of a huge mistake is going to allow McCready back to the table in this match.
I don't know why he went down table that far for the 5. I would have stayed a lot further from the 5, not running the risk of going behind the 9.
Well, I'll lay you a small bet that McCree held his breath watching that cue ball inch toward that 9. That was almost disaster.
Now he's flat on the 5. He's going to have to do a little more work with the cue ball to attain a shot on the 7. Nicely executed shot. He's gotten himself back in line again. 2 cushions out of the upper left-hand corner with the cue ball should send him in an ideal position for the black 8. 1 cushion, 2 cushions, nice speed of the cue ball. This match is history.
Yeah, I just saw a nod of the head. I think Keith McCready has accepted defeat in this one. And the simple 9 to punctuate a great performance from Ryan McCreesh. Down it goes, and a fist. The exclamation point. Ryan McCreesh, an 11-8 winner in day 1 action here over Keith McCready. He goes through. McCready's going to have to fight his way back on the B side, Billy, and that will be a tall order for him.
Yes, it is. But in behalf of McCreesh, I mean, you can't help but like what you saw in McCreesh. You know, he has a lot of skills. He has got a big break. He's got a lot of heart. You know, if he's weak in any part of his game, I think it's his choice of shots, his pattern play. But other than that, you know, I was really impressed with the way he played.
Absolutely. The break proved to be the difference. So all done here. Keith McCready, 11-8 loser to Maryland's Ryan McCreesh.